Ram Prasad is a small paddy farmer. He lives 22 kilometers from Raipur, the capital of Chhattisgarh. He has to travel 22 kilometers to the nearest mandi to sell his paddy produce. Traveling so much distance means that the whole day has gone and a lot of money spent on transporting the crops. On top of that, the mandi decided the price for his goods, and even the payment was not made immediately. Manglu, a 60-year-old Pahadi Korba of Chhattisgarh state, earned just rupees 200 in a month. He has a family of 4 people and is uneducated and unskilled too. But most of all, he was unaware that he was eligible for some relief from the government, as he was the best representative of below poverty line beneficiary of various government schemes. Manglu routinely rushed to the village moneylender by the middle of the month to get a loan just to ward off hunger. The payment of this loan would then account for the bulk of his next month's income. The life of millions of poor people in Chhattisgarh was the same as Manglu's life. They were forced to look towards the village moneylenders or the private ration shop for their subsistence due to desperation of not getting rations from the fair price shop of the government. Certainly, the distressing living of these people in the state raised the question on public distribution system, because the basic responsibility of their livelihood was fundamentally dependent on this system. The public distribution system is such a big scheme of the Chhattisgarh government that the common people can avail basic food grains at a nominal rate from the fair price shops. Subsidized ration allotment is a beneficiary-oriented scheme where poor people get various ration commodities at a subsidized rate. The purpose of the scheme would be lost if the target beneficiaries do not get it. Therefore, the whole purpose of the PDS project is to develop a system where the intended beneficiaries can actually avail the benefits of the scheme. However, the system has been crippled by corruption and malpractice, which prevents the public from availing the system in a proper manner. The state government decided to computerize the entire process in order to maintain transparency, commence community participation, ensure better management and efficiency to stop corrupt practices. The Food and Civil Supplies Department of the Government of Chhattisgarh took up the challenging task of implementing an end-to-end computerization of paddy procurement under the minimum support price and the public distribution system in July 2007.
In 2007, NIC was contacted with a great challenge. It was asked to compute the whole food grain supply chain from paddy procurement to public distribution system. The whole supply chain was required to be computerized. There were so many objectives. One of the main objectives is to reduce the corruption. See how we can reduce the diversion while using technology.
This project was computerized and initiated by Dr. Alok Shukla, who was the Food Secretary in the Chhattisgarh government. Gaurav Dwivedi, who was the Managing Director of Markfed and Chhattisgarh State Civil Supply Corporation, and A.K. Somashekar of National Informatics Center, who is the implementation partner in this project. Under this project, the government has computerized the entire process of paddy procurement and public distribution. This includes paddy procurement from farmers, its storage, milling, and finally the distribution of rice and other commodities to 37 lakh ration card holders through fair price shops.
In Chhattisgarh, paddy procurement is a very, very big program. Paddy is the main crop of Chhattisgarh, and therefore during the procurement season, every farmer would like to sell their paddy at a minimum support price to the government agencies. These schemes are implemented in such a manner that the maximum benefit would reach the people and that government does not suffer losses. And of course, everyone knows that there is a huge amount of corruption which happens in these kinds of schemes. So we are able to tackle this problem and prevent corruption from happening.
This project was implemented during 2007 and 2008. It covers nearly 1,532 paddy procurement centers in remote villages and over 200 offices and warehouses of the Food Department, which includes Chhattisgarh State Civil Supplies Corporation, Cooperative Marketing Federation, Food Corporation of India, State Warehousing Corporation and Central Warehousing Corporation in all 18 districts of the state. The government of Chhattisgarh procures paddy in the state on behalf of the government of India at minimum support price. The paddy purchase centers are mainly located at village panchayat level. Procurement takes place through a primary agricultural societies in the whole state. The paddy procured is converted into rice by millers after entering into an agreement. Rice is then handed over to Chhattisgarh State Civil Supplies Corporation to use it in another important scheme for providing food security to the poor. Paddy purchase centers are mainly located at village panchayat level and connectivity is not available at most of these centers. Therefore, a form-based standalone module has been developed for online purchase of paddy and issue of paddy to millers, storage centers and Food Corporation of India.
Concept that we tried to implement was that it should be a real computerization, in the true sense of the word. Many times when there is computerization, we often understand it to only mean that whatever data is available on paper, that data should be transcribed onto a computer. You do a data entry post facto and feel very happy that you've computerized the system, which really is not the solution. So the system that we envisaged was that it should be a true computerization with all the processes coming onto the computer. So we decided to implement various modules in various places, various locations where the activities took place. For instance, there was a procurement module which was given to the packs and lamps where the actual procurement takes place.
The computerization of nearly 1,500 paddy procurement centers by compiling the farmers' database, which includes their land holding and crop loan details and cash provided to them for grain procurement at MSP was undertaken. In this module, paddy receipt to farmers, checks and delivery memos are printed on computer at real time. Also, the importance has been given to on-the-spot generation of checks on computers as it reduces the delay in payment to farmers. As a result of this, over 31 lakh tons of paddy was procured during the 2007 Kharif season, which went up to 37 lakh tons in the Kharif season of 2008 because of the process improvement. An interesting innovation of data transmission through motorcycle riders ensured real-time data transmission from purchase centers to the central server. 250 motorcycle riders called runners have been hired to carry data every day from procurement center computers to block headquarters, where they upload the data on the central server through the internet. Details of paddy procured was brought into the system through runners within 12 to 15 hours, and payments to farmers were done on the same day through electronically prepared checks, while under the earlier system, it could take as long as 2 weeks to manually calculate the due amounts and write down the checks. VSAT-based connectivity helps these operations, which is available in Chhattisgarh at block headquarters in the offices of Janpad Panchayats. 1,578 data entry operators who are located to the society were recruited and trained on the operation of PAX module. The government also provided an online registration system for rice millers in the state to register them for custom milling of the procured paddy into rice. The government also created a massive inventory management system for tracking over 35 lakh tons of paddy right from the packs and lamps to millers' premises, warehouses and storage centers of Markfed and FCI, as well as the receipt of milled rice in nearly 100 PDS warehouses. All movement orders for transportation of paddy and food grain were issued and reconciled online, thus eliminating reconciliation delays and possibilities of fraud or defalcation. Moving ahead, the government cancelled all the old ration cards and issued fresh, numerically and bar-coded ration cards free of charge to over 34 lakh below poverty line BPL families. As a result of this, nearly 3 lakh fake ration cards were eliminated, and the entire database of ration card with family details and entitlement data is available in the public domain on the department's website. PDS allocations to fair price shops were done using the ration cards database, and the transmission time for allocations from Directorate of Food to fair price shops was cut short from 3 weeks to 2 hours. Additionally, sales details of each fair price shop was captured and factored in while issuing subsequent allotments to ensure that only necessary inventory was transferred to ensure the optimal utilization of available stocks and eliminate the diversion of excess stocks into the black market. By monitoring sales and the stock levels of each fair price shop, the government have ensured that every fair price shop in the state was stocked with the necessary inventory by the 7th of every month. This action assured the supply of food grain and other commodities and built up food security in the remotest parts of the state.
Is the Chawal Utsav. So, on the 7th of every month in non-tribal areas and on the first day of Haat Bazaar in tribal areas celebrates what is known as a Chawal Utsav, which basically means that everybody who is connected with public distribution system, whether it is a food inspector or it is a sarpanch or other government officers, they are supposed to be present at the ration shop, and anybody who has any complaint whatsoever can also be present there, and then the food commodities are actually weighed in the presence of everybody and are given to the beneficiaries.
Since the entire ration card database has been computerized, shop-wise allocations have now been automated. Per card allocations are fed into the computer at the state level. Shop-wise allocations are calculated by the software. all fair price shops are required to give declarations of their stocks and sales in the previous month before the issue of PDS commodities. The website also provides a method of citizen participation in monitoring of PDS. For this, citizens can register their email ID or mobile numbers on this website for participation in the monitoring of PDS. The Chhattisgarh State Civil Supply Corporation setup is an in-house call center with a toll-free number. For registration, all complaints regarding procurement, PDS and other issues relating to the department. All complaint redressal is monitored at the Directorate and Secretariat level for speedy disposal of complaints. Today, things have changed. Now, Ram Prasad can sell his paddy to the Government Procurement Center, which is just 3 kilometers from his village. This not only saves his transportation cost and time, but he even gets his payment on the spot by check. While technology is a powerful tool, but it still is just a tool. The PDS system is firing popular imagination because it is backed by administrative will as well. The officers of Chhattisgarh government who have created the module of computerization of paddy procurement and public distribution system in Chhattisgarh, Dr. Alok Shukla, Gaurav Dwivedi and A.K. Somsekar, all the champions of this mission were awarded by the Prime Minister's Award of Excellence in Public Administration. The positive initiatives taken by the Chhattisgarh government have been helpful in fulfilling the commitment towards the poor people of the state. The people of Chhattisgarh proudly hold up their ration cards. They know they live below the poverty line, an income of rupees 12 or below per day in the rural area. And they also know that they have a right to subsidize rice, wheat, kerosene and free salt.